Welcome back, American coin hunter. Imagine holding a tiny copper-colored coin between your fingers, something you've probably ignored your entire life, something you may have dropped on the ground or left forgotten in a drawer, and realizing that this small, ordinary-looking 1988 1-cent coin could be connected to one of the most shocking value stories in American numismatic history. The Lincoln Memorial penny from 1988 was minted in massive numbers, passed through millions of hands, spent on candy, newspapers, and gas station change. Yet hidden among those ordinary cents are rare error coins, transitional metal mysteries, and production anomalies that have driven collectors into a frenzy for decades. This is the kind of coin people find in old jars, inherited collections, or pocket change, never suspecting that a single detail, a slight mistake made by a U.S. Mint employee or a worn die used for just a few seconds too long, could transform a 1-cent piece into a coin worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, or in the most extreme collector legends, a value discussed in the hundreds of millions of dollars. The 1988 Lincoln cent belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Series, a design that ran from 1959 to 2008, created to honor the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's right-facing portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, carries a sense of permanence and quiet authority. Above Lincoln's head appears the word liberty, a core American ideal, while the motto "In God We Trust" sits boldly along the upper rim. The date 1988 appears to the right of Lincoln's bust, and beneath the date is the mint mark, if present. Coins struck in Philadelphia carry no mint mark. Denver coins display a small D, and San Francisco coins, usually proofs, show an S. This tiny letter is one of the first things collectors look for, because mint location often plays a critical role in rarity and value. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stands centered, a powerful symbol of American history and sacrifice. If you look closely at the steps between the columns, you can actually see a tiny seated statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, making this one of the few U.S. coins to depict the same person on both sides. Above the memorial are the words United States of America, with E pluribus unum just below. At the bottom, the denomination 1 cent is clearly spelled out, grounding this coin in everyday commerce even as collectors hunt for extraordinary examples. In 1988, the United States Mint produced an enormous number of Lincoln cents. Philadelphia alone struck over 6.09 billion coins, while Denver produced more than 5.25 billion. These numbers are staggering, and on the surface they suggest that the 1988 penny should be common and nearly worthless. And in most cases, it is. A typical circulated 1988 penny is worth 1 cent, maybe 2 or 3 cents in shiny, uncirculated condition. But mass production is exactly what creates opportunity for error, and error is where the real story begins. The standard 1988 Lincoln cent was struck on a copper-plated zinc planchet, a composition introduced in 1982 to reduce costs. These coins consist of 97.5% zinc with a thin 2.5% copper plating. The official weight is approximately 2.5 grams. Any significant deviation from this weight immediately raises red flags for collectors. A coin weighing closer to 3.11 grams, for example, suggests it may have been struck on an older bronze planchet, something that technically should not have happened in 1988. And yet, numismatic history has shown us that the impossible sometimes slips through the cracks. One of the most talked about error types for the 1988 penny is the off-metal or wrong planchet strike. These occur when a blank intended for a different coin or a different composition somehow ends up in the press. A 1988 penny struck on a bronze planchet would be an extraordinary transitional error, because bronze planchets were no longer supposed to be in use. If authenticated, such a coin could command tens of thousands of dollars, and in extreme cases with perfect condition and provenance, even more. Another highly sought-after error is the doubled die. A doubled die occurs when the coin die receives multiple impressions from the hub that are slightly misaligned, causing doubling in the design elements. On 1988 cents, collectors search for doubling on the date, the word liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust." Strong double die examples show clear separation and notching in the letters, visible even without magnification. These are not machine doubling, which is flat and shelf-like, but true hub doubling. which adds real value. A strong 1988 double-die penny in high mint state condition can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Then there are repunched mint marks, particularly on Denver coins. Although by 1988 mint marks were punched into the die rather than the individual coin, some dies still show anomalies where the mint mark appears doubled, tilted, or oddly shaped. These subtle variations fascinate specialists who dedicate years to studying a single date. Clip planchet errors are another dramatic category. These occur when the metal strip used to punch blanks overlaps or misfeeds, resulting in a coin missing a curved or straight section of metal. A genuine clip planchet will show the Blakesley effect, a weak or missing rim opposite the clip. A 1988 penny with a large, dramatic clip and clean surfaces can bring significant premiums, especially if the clip occurred before striking and not after circulation damage. Broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar, cause the metal to spread outward, producing a wider, flatter coin with no reeded edge and often a distorted design. Although cents do not have reeds, the absence of the collar still produces an unmistakable look. These errors visually stand out and are popular among collectors who want something instantly recognizable. Die cracks, cuds, and retained cuds also appear on some 1988 cents. As dies wear out under immense pressure, cracks form, eventually leading to chunks of the die breaking away. When this happens, the metal flows into the void, creating raised blobs or distorted areas on the coin. Large cuds that interrupt letters or design elements are especially desirable, turning a damaged die into a collectible artifact. One of the most mysterious aspects of the 1988 penny is the persistent rumor of ultra-rare specimens connected to experimental metals, trial strikes, or undocumented mint mishaps. While the United States Mint maintains strict controls, history proves that anomalies escape detection. The legendary 1943 copper penny and the 1944 steel cent are prime examples. These precedents fuel the belief that somewhere, perhaps in a private collection or a forgotten vault, exists a 1988 cent that defies all expectations. This brings us to the sensational claim that circulates in online forums, collector lore, and viral videos. The idea that a unique 1988 1-cent error coin could be associated with a theoretical or speculative market value reaching as high as $271 million. To be absolutely clear in a responsible, educational sense, no standard 1988 penny has ever sold publicly for anything close to that amount. Now let that idea sink in even deeper, because the real obsession with the 1988 1-cent coin doesn't stop at simple errors or surface-level rarity. It goes far beyond that, into the psychology of collectors, the hidden mechanics of the U.S. Mint, and the quiet truth that the most valuable coins are often discovered by ordinary people who had no idea what they were holding. The story of the 1988 penny continues through thousands of hands, through decades of circulation, and through the silent survival of coins that escaped melting, cleaning, or damage, remaining just pure enough to still tell their story today. During 1988, the United States Mint was under intense production pressure. Billions of cents were required for daily commerce, vending machines, parking meters, and cash registers across the country. When production reaches that scale, quality control shifts from perfection to efficiency. Dies are pushed longer than ideal. Planchets move at incredible speed. Human oversight becomes limited. This environment is exactly where rare mint errors are born. A slightly misaligned die, a cracked die face, or a planchet that slips in from the wrong batch can pass through undetected, sealed forever once the coin leaves the mint. Some 1988 pennies show weak strikes, where design details appear soft or faded. While weak strikes alone are not always valuable, when combined with other anomalies, they can indicate deeper issues with die pressure or metal flow. Collectors have documented examples where Lincoln's hair lacks sharp definition, the memorial steps appear mushy, or the lettering shows uneven thickness. These coins are studied carefully because they sometimes point toward experimental pressures or improperly annealed planchets. Another fascinating category is the missing design element error. In rare cases, grease-filled dies prevent parts of the design from striking properly. Thick grease or debris can block the recesses of the die, resulting in coins missing letters, numbers, or even entire sections of the design. A 1988 penny missing parts of I In God We Trust or with a partial date can be extremely desirable if the error is dramatic and clearly mint-caused rather than damage. There are also rotated die errors, where the obverse and reverse are not aligned correctly. Normally, when you flip a coin vertically, both sides should line up perfectly. Some 1988 cents have rotations of 10, 20, or even 90 degrees. Severe rotations are especially collectible and add a layer of mechanical intrigue to the coin. The copper plating itself is another source of mystery. Since 1982, cents have been copper-plated zinc, but the plating process is delicate. Improper bonding can cause bubbles, blisters, peeling, or missing plating areas. While many plated errors are common and low value, extreme examples with dramatic exposed zinc, folded plating, or split layers can bring solid premiums. Some 1988 pennies show lamination errors, where a thin layer of metal peels away due to impurities or bonding failures. These laminations often curl upward, catching light and attention immediately. Collectors often debate whether some 1988 pennies were struck during experimental testing. Although no official documentation confirms large-scale experiments that year, the mint has a long history of testing metals, dyes, and processes quietly. When collectors encounter a coin with unusual color, density, or magnetic response, speculation begins. A penny that behaves differently under testing, even if not officially recognized, becomes a topic of intense discussion and examination. This leads to professional grading and authentication, which plays a critical role in value. A raw 1988 penny with a claimed error is just a curiosity. Once certified by a top grading service and encapsulated with an official label identifying the error, the coin enters the serious collector market. Grading adds legitimacy, protection, and market confidence. Coins graded at the highest levels, especially MS-68 or above, are incredibly rare for 1988 cents due to the softness of copper plating and the harshness of circulation. The highest grade 1988 pennies are often described as virtually flawless, with blazing red surfaces, sharp strikes, and no visible marks even under magnification. These coins are condition rarities, meaning that while the date itself is common, examples in that state simply did not survive in large numbers. Registry set collectors compete fiercely for top population coins, sometimes paying surprising prices for what appears to be an ordinary cent. Beyond the technical aspects lies the emotional power of the hunt. Coin collectors are driven by the belief that something extraordinary is hiding in plain sight. The 1988 penny embodies that belief perfectly. It is not ancient, not gold, not silver. It is humble, overlooked, and still accessible. That accessibility fuels dreams. People search rolls from banks, check change from stores, and sort through old jars because the cost is low but the potential reward feels limitless. Stories circulate of people finding rare error pennies while casually searching with family members, turning a simple hobby into a life-changing moment. Whether those stories end in a few $100s or a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, they reinforce the idea that knowledge is more powerful than money. Knowing what to look for transforms ordinary objects into opportunities. The claim of a $271 million value represents the ultimate extreme of that dream. It is not a price tag seen on auction records, but rather a symbolic figure used to express the maximum imaginable value of a truly unique, historically significant coin. In the world of ultra-elite collecting, where billionaires compete for singular objects, price becomes almost irrelevant. What matters is ownership, legacy, and the ability to possess something no one else can ever have. If a hypothetical 1988 penny were discovered that combined a forbidden metal composition, flawless condition, documented mint error origin, and absolute uniqueness, it would become more than a coin. It would become an artifact. Museums would want it. Private collectors would fight over it. Its value would be defined not by metal or denomination, but by desire. For now, the real market continues to operate on known examples. Error coins sell steadily. High-grade examples are tracked carefully. New discoveries still happen because not every coin has been examined. Coins continue to age, surfaces tone, and collections resurface after decades of storage. Every year, coins that were once dismissed are re-evaluated with new knowledge and better technology. The 1988 penny is also a reminder of how fragile value can be. Cleaning a coin, even gently, can destroy thousands of dollars in potential value. Scratches, chemical damage, or improper storage can reduce a rare error to a curiosity. This is why education is emphasized so heavily in numismatics. The best collectors are not just hunters, they are preservers of history. And as time moves forward, the number of untouched, high-quality 1988 pennies will only decrease. Coins are lost, damaged, or melted. What survives becomes more significant with each passing year. The story of the 1988 cent is still being written, one discovery at a time, in coin shops, basements, and pockets around the world. And the deeper you go into this story, the more you realize that the 1988 1-cent coin is not just about metal and minting, but about timing, survival, and the strange way history chooses its winners. Coins do not become valuable simply because they exist. They become valuable because they survive in the right form, with the right flaws, at the right moment, and the 1988 penny continues to sit at that crossroads between the ordinary and the extraordinary as the years pass. Collectors have begun to look at late 1980s Lincoln cents with renewed interest. For a long time, these coins were dismissed as modern, too new, too common to matter. But numismatics has a pattern of rediscovery. What is ignored today often becomes tomorrow's treasure once condition rarity and error populations are fully understood. The 1988 cent is now entering that phase, where serious collectors are re-examining it not as spare change, but as a historical product of a specific era in U.S. minting. One reason the 1988 penny draws attention is the condition sensitivity of copper-plated zinc. Unlike solid bronze coins of earlier decades, these cents are fragile. The thin copper layer scratches easily, corrodes quickly when exposed, and reacts badly to moisture. As a result, pristine examples are far rarer than mintages suggest. This makes any 1988 penny that has survived with full original red color and no plating issues an immediate standout. Then there is the question of storage and distribution. Many 1988 cents went straight into circulation, but some were stored in rolls, bags, or government surplus. Coins from these sources sometimes show unusual characteristics, such as bag marks clustered in specific areas or consistent toning patterns. Collectors analyze these clues to trace how a coin lived its life before being rediscovered. Another layer of intrigue comes from varieties that are still being cataloged. Even decades after issue, new die varieties can be discovered. Slight shifts in lettering, micro-doubling, die polishing lines, or spacing anomalies may not make headlines. But to specialists, they represent uncharted territory. A variety known to exist in only a handful of examples can suddenly gain attention once recognized and published. Technology has also changed how coins are studied. High-resolution digital microscopes, precise scales, and metal analysis tools allow collectors to examine coins with a level of detail that was impossible in the past. This has led to renewed scrutiny of coins once thought to be normal. Some 1988 pennies, when examined closely, reveal anomalies that raise new questions about their origin. This constant evolution in knowledge is part of what keeps the market alive. Values are not fixed. A coin worth a few dollars today can be worth much more tomorrow if new information comes to light. Conversely, exaggerated claims can be corrected when evidence does not support them. The market is a living system, shaped by discovery, debate, and documentation. The emotional pull of the 1988 penny is also tied to nostalgia. For many people, 1988 is a year they remember. Coins from that era connect personal memory with national history. When collectors hold a 1988 cent, they are not just holding a coin, they are holding a moment in time, a fragment of everyday life from a specific year. This emotional connection fuels storytelling, and storytelling fuels value. Coins with stories are remembered. Coins without stories are forgotten. Every notable 1988 penny has a narrative, whether it's a dramatic error, a remarkable state of preservation, or a mysterious origin. These stories are passed from collector to collector, sometimes growing larger with each telling. And that is how myths begin. The idea of a $271 million penny is part of that myth-making process. It captures imagination, sparks debate, and draws new people into the hobby. While responsible collectors separate documented fact from speculation, they also understand that imagination has always been part of numismatics. Without imagination, no one would ever look twice at a 1-cent coin. In real market terms, collectors continue to pay strong prices for confirmed errors and top-grade examples. Auction records show steady demand, particularly for coins with clear, dramatic features that can be easily explained and appreciated. Subtle varieties require education, but once understood, they can be just as desirable. As more people search, more coins are examined, and more information is shared, the population of known errors slowly increases. Yet rarity remains, because not every coin survives in collectible condition. Time is both an enemy and an ally, destroying most coins while elevating the few that endure. The 1988 penny stands as a reminder that value is not always obvious. Sometimes it hides behind familiarity. Sometimes it waits for someone curious enough to look closer. And sometimes it becomes a symbol of how the smallest objects can carry the biggest stories. The journey of this coin is far from over. Every new discovery adds another layer, another chapter, another possibility. And as long as 1988 pennies continue to circulate, sleep in collections, and wait in forgotten places, the story will continue to grow, 1 cent at a time. And as we continue to peel back the layers of the 1988 Lincoln cent, we begin to see a story that is not just about coins, but about human fascination with rarity, error, and the idea that extraordinary value can be hidden in plain sight. The 1988 penny may appear ordinary, but to the trained eye, it is a canvas of mechanical history, a witness to the industrial precision and occasional imperfection of the United States Mint. Every strike tells a tale of immense pressure, of steel and zinc meeting in a fraction of a second, of a die that may have cracked, shifted, or worn in subtle ways, producing variations that no one could predict. It is these subtle variations that turn an unassuming coin into a prized collectible. Collectors often speak of the eye appeal of a coin, and in the case of the 1988 cent, this is a critical factor. Eye appeal is subjective, yet highly influential in determining a coin's market value. A bright, lustrous red coin, free from scratches, spots, or discoloration, instantly commands attention. Add a dramatic error like a strong doubled die, a clipped planchet, or a misaligned strike, and the coin moves from common to extraordinary. Some 1988 cents show an almost mirror-like surface, reflecting light in a way that highlights every detail of Lincoln's profile and the memorial steps on the reverse. It is this combination of condition, rarity, and visual impact that drives serious collectors to pay hundreds, even thousands of dollars for a single cent. The market for 1988 pennies also reflects the broader culture of coin collecting. Unlike precious metals, where intrinsic value is easily calculated, collectible coins rely heavily on scarcity and desirability. A common cent may have little value beyond face, but an error coin, a high-grade specimen, or a previously unknown variety can change the dynamics entirely. Online auction platforms, coin shows, and dealer networks constantly update what collectors are willing to pay, influenced by new discoveries, grading results, and even media coverage. This dynamic market keeps collectors vigilant, constantly examining coins in rolls, bags, and inherited collections. Another fascinating aspect of the 1988 penny story involves provenance. Coins with a traceable history often command higher prices. Knowing where a coin originated, whether it came from a mint bag, a particular hoard, or a well-known collection, adds legitimacy and narrative to its value. Collectors cherish these stories because they create a tangible link between the coin and its past. A 1988 penny with a dramatic error and a clear, documented provenance can become a centerpiece of a collection, admired not just for its rarity, but for the story it carries. Numismatic experts also consider population reports when evaluating 1988 pennies. Population reports provide account of how many coins of a particular type and grade have been certified. These reports help collectors assess rarity relative to other examples. For 1988 cents, high-grade errors and exceptional specimens are extremely limited in certified numbers, which fuels competitive bidding when they appear in auctions. The scarcity of certified, high-quality error coins is one reason why the legendary valuations, even extreme figures like $271 million, continue to circulate in collector lore. They represent the imagination of the market, the upper limits of rarity and desire combined. The 1988 penny is also an educational tool. By studying it, collectors learn about die processes, metal compositions, minting procedures, and the subtle differences between mint marks and varieties. Beginners start by weighing coins, checking mint marks, and inspecting surfaces under magnification. As experience grows, they develop the ability to spot doubled dies, die cracks, rotated dies, and planchet anomalies. This process teaches patience, attention to detail, and a deep appreciation for both the artistry and engineering behind coin production. One of the more compelling aspects of the 1988 cent is how it bridges the gap between everyday life and high-level collecting. Most people handled these coins in 1988 without thinking twice, spending them, tipping them, or storing them casually. Yet decades later, a small subset has become collectible treasures. This intersection of ordinary circulation and rare survival exemplifies a key principle in numismatics. Not all coins become valuable, but all coins have the potential to teach us something about history, production, and human behavior. For serious collectors, the thrill lies in discovery. Rolling pennies at the bank, checking coins from change, examining old collections. These are the moments when ordinary objects suddenly become extraordinary. The 1988 penny embodies this thrill perfectly because it is accessible yet full of potential. Its commonality invites exploration, while its hidden errors and high-grade examples reward diligence and knowledge. Collectors live for the possibility that an ordinary coin can transform into a once-in-a-lifetime find. As the hobby evolves, the 1988 penny will continue to hold a special place. Its combination of historical significance, design appeal, and potential for errors makes it a prime subject for collectors, educators, and enthusiasts alike. Whether displayed in a glass case, certified and encapsulated by a grading service, or discovered in a forgotten jar, the 1988 Lincoln cent continues to remind us that the smallest objects can carry immense stories. Every detail, the weight, the metal composition, the mint mark, the subtle die variations, plays a role in a much larger narrative of discovery, history, and human fascination. And so the story of the 1988 penny with errors, remarkable condition, and the mythical valuation of hundreds of millions persists, drawing new collectors and inspiring experienced numismatists to continue searching, studying, and sharing. It is a coin that exists in the ordinary, yet hints at the extraordinary, a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hidden in plain sight, waiting for the patient and the curious to uncover them. Every 1988 penny still out there could be the one that changes a collector's life forever. And as we move further into the story of the 1988 Lincoln cent, it becomes clear that the true allure of this coin lies not just in errors or grading, but in the rich tapestry of history and human connection that each piece carries. These small, unassuming cents were minted during a period of immense social and economic change in the United States. 1988 was a year when everyday Americans interacted with these coins hundreds of millions of times, paying for goods, receiving change, saving in jars, or simply passing them from hand to hand. Each coin bears silent witness to that history, and yet, hidden within the millions of ordinary cents, are anomalies that whisper of imperfection, experimentation, and the rare opportunity for discovery. Collectors know that the story of the 1988 penny is deeply intertwined with the intricacies of minting processes. Each coin begins as a planchet, a blank piece of metal precisely measured and shaped. For the 1988 cent, this meant a copper-plated zinc planchet weighing approximately 2.5 grams, with strict specifications for diameter, thickness, and composition. But even with precision machinery, human and mechanical error is inevitable. Some planchets may have minor thickness variations, slight alloy inconsistencies, or minute impurities. While most go unnoticed, some defects transform ordinary coins into collectible errors. Among the most dramatic errors are off-metal strikes, which occur when a penny is struck on the wrong type of metal blank. Imagine a 1988 penny accidentally struck on a bronze planchet leftover from the pre-1982 era. The visual impact alone is enough to draw the attention of collectors. The weight is heavier, the color is richer, and the metallic sound is different. When verified and authenticated, these anomalies can reach extraordinary values, sometimes exceeding the tens of thousands of dollars. Depending on condition, rarity, and collector interest, double dies continue to fascinate enthusiasts. On certain 1988 cents, doubling appears on the date, on the letters of liberty, or in God We Trust. True double dies are not subtle, shelf-like images. They reveal a genuine separation in the design caused by misalignment of the hub during die creation. High-grade examples of such coins are immensely sought after, sometimes fetching prices that far exceed the value of coins with minor or incidental doubling. The drama of double dies lies in their clarity. The stronger and more obvious the doubling, the more desirable the coin. Planchet errors add another layer of intrigue. Misfed or clipped planchets can result in coins missing a portion of their edge, either curved or straight, creating a striking visual anomaly. Broad strike errors, caused by a coin being struck without the retaining collar, result in a wider, thinner coin that collectors admire for its unusual proportions. Lamination errors, where the surface layer peels or bubbles, showcase the fragility of the copper plating and offer yet another path to premium value. Even the mint mark plays a crucial role in assessing rarity. The Denver D mint mark, sometimes slightly repunched or misaligned, can create subtle but notable varieties. Philadelphia coins, lacking a mint mark, are abundant, yet when a rare error occurs, even these seemingly ordinary cents can become valuable. Proofs from San Francisco, struck for collectors, introduce another layer of potential interest, especially when anomalies or exceptional preservation exist. Weight anomalies also draw attention. A coin that deviates significantly from the standard 2.5 grams immediately raises questions. Weighing a coin is a first step in detecting potential errors. A penny closer to the pre-1982 bronze weight of 3.11 grams, or slightly off from the intended standard, signals the need for closer examination. Combined with visual inspection, magnification, and provenance research, these coins can become central pieces of a collection. The 1988 penny also teaches lessons about the fragile nature of value. Copper-plated zinc is soft, scratches easily, and reacts to environmental conditions. Cleaning a coin, even with care, can destroy thousands of dollars in potential value. Corrosion, moisture damage, and improper storage diminish appeal, while untouched, original examples, still exhibiting their red, brilliant surfaces, become more coveted each passing year. Condition and preservation are as critical as rarity, reinforcing the idea that patience and knowledge are the keys to numismatic success. Stories of discovery abound. Collectors often recount finding extraordinary coins in rolls purchased from banks, loose coins received as change, or pennies dug from decades-old collections. Each discovery reminds enthusiasts that the ordinary can hide the extraordinary. The thrill of unearthing an error, a high-grade example, or an undocumented variety is part of what keeps collectors returning to the hunt year after year. The legend of the $271 million valuation continues to spark conversation. While such figures are speculative, they reflect the imagination and ambition of the collector community. They embody the notion that, under perfect circumstances, a single, flawless, one-of-a-kind coin could represent the pinnacle of numismatic achievement. Whether or not such a valuation is realistic, it fuels the allure of the 1988 penny and keeps the dream alive for aspiring collectors and seasoned numismatists alike. Education, research, and community play critical roles. Collectors share findings, compare notes, and publish discoveries, helping others recognize varieties, authenticate anomalies, and understand grading standards. This collaborative environment has elevated the study of modern pennies like the 1988 cent to a level once reserved for rare, ancient coins. Knowledge amplifies value, because collectors with expertise can spot the subtle differences that separate ordinary coins from extraordinary ones. Ultimately, the 1988 Lincoln cent is more than a coin. It is a window into the complex world of minting, error creation, and human fascination with rarity. It is a reminder that even the smallest objects can hold immense historical and financial significance. It is proof that patience, attention to detail, and curiosity can turn something as ordinary as a penny into a treasure, capturing the imagination of collectors worldwide. And for anyone willing to look closely, to study, and to explore, The 1988 penny continues to offer the possibility of discovery, the thrill of ownership, and the enduring allure of what many consider the ultimate numismatic dream. And as we delve even deeper into the fascinating world of the 1988 Lincoln cent, we begin to see that its story is not just about errors, minting processes, or speculative valuations. It's about the human element, the thrill of discovery, and the psychology of collecting. Collectors are driven not only by value, but by the excitement of uncovering a hidden treasure, of holding something in their hands that others may have overlooked for decades. The 1988 penny, though mass-produced, embodies this thrill perfectly because within billions of coins, rare errors and unique examples continue to surface, waiting for the curious and patient to find them. It is this combination of accessibility and potential rarity that keeps collectors examining every coin with meticulous care, rolling pennies at banks, inspecting change from stores, and digging through inherited jars and boxes with anticipation. The 1988 cent also represents an era of minting that straddles tradition and modernity. By this time, the U.S. Mint had perfected high-speed presses capable of producing billions of coins annually. Yet even with such precision machinery, small anomalies could, and did, occur. Dies would develop cracks, misalignments would happen, and planchets from different production runs could accidentally enter the press. These tiny deviations from perfection created the error coins that today drive collector interest. The very imperfections that would have been discarded as insignificant in everyday commerce are now the keys to extraordinary numismatic value. Some collectors refer to this as hidden history, because each error is a window into the production conditions, machinery limits, and human oversight at the mint. Among the most prized of these are the off-metal strikes. Imagine a 1988 penny accidentally struck on a bronze planchet from the earlier pre-1982 era. This anomaly would instantly draw attention due to its weight, color, and metallic properties. Its very existence defies the minting rules of the time, and collectors recognize that such a coin represents an extraordinarily rare window into minting history. Verification and authentication by professional grading services are critical in these cases, because the line between a genuine error and post-mint alteration must be absolutely clear. A verified off-metal 1988 cent could command tens of thousands of dollars or more, depending on condition, eye appeal, and market demand. Double dies, especially strong examples on the date, Liberty, or I in God We Trust, remain central to collector interest. True double dies are striking because they represent a mechanical misstep during die creation, not just a superficial visual effect. They reveal multiple impressions from the hub, slightly misaligned, creating the dramatic doubling that experts prize. High-grade specimens in brilliant condition are exceptionally rare for 1988, making them the centerpiece of many modern penny collections. Some coins exhibit doubling so pronounced that even casual observers can detect it without magnification, creating instant excitement for collectors who understand the significance. Other errors, like clipped planchets, broad strikes, die cracks, and lamination anomalies, add additional layers to the story. Each of these errors tells a story of production pressures, mechanical stress, or planchet inconsistencies. Clipped planchets show where the metal strip fed incorrectly. Broad strikes reveal the absence of the retaining collar during striking. Die cracks demonstrate the slow deterioration of a working die, and lamination errors showcase bonding failures in the copper plating. These anomalies, though minor to the untrained eye, are precisely what makes certain 1988 pennies so valuable and desirable. The key is authenticity, condition, and documentation, all of which contribute to the market perception and collector enthusiasm. The Denver D Mint mark, sometimes slightly repunched or misaligned, creates subtle but significant varieties that collectors actively seek. Philadelphia coins, though lacking a mint mark, can also show unique die characteristics, while San Francisco proof coins introduce an entirely different subset of rarity. Proofs, struck on specially polished planchets and intended for collectors, sometimes carry unique die features or anomalies that distinguish them from circulation coins. These differences, combined with condition and rarity, allow collectors to build focused collections that highlight the diversity and potential of 1988 cents. Weight remains an essential factor. A deviation from the standard 2.5 grams immediately signals the need for closer inspection. A heavier coin, approaching the 3.11 gram weight of pre-1982 bronze, or a lighter coin, could indicate an off-metal strike, a planchet error, or other unusual origin. Collectors use precision scales to detect these anomalies, often as the first step before magnification and professional evaluation. A coin's weight, color, and feel can provide clues that reveal a hidden gem within an otherwise ordinary stack of pennies. Collectors also place immense value on provenance. Coins with a traceable history, whether from mint bags, hoards, or long-held private collections, often command higher premiums. Knowing the journey of a coin adds legitimacy, narrative, and historical depth. For 1988 pennies, provenance can make the difference between a coin worth hundreds and one worth thousands. Auction houses, grading services, and dealers all emphasize documented history when evaluating rare examples, reinforcing the importance of both condition and story in numismatics. Education, research, and community collaboration continue to drive the study of 1988 pennies. Collectors share discoveries, post images online, and publish population reports that track the certified numbers of high-grade or error coins. This collaborative effort not only spreads knowledge, but also helps prevent forgery, misrepresentation, and overvaluation. At the same time, it fuels excitement, as even experienced collectors encounter previously undocumented varieties or errors that change their understanding of the 1988 penny market. The allure of the legendary $271 million valuation remains part of the coin's mystique. While this number is hypothetical and speculative, it represents the upper bound of collector imagination, a way to express the maximum conceivable value of a truly unique, flawless coin that combines historical importance, rarity, and perfection. Such a valuation captures attention, sparks discussion, and inspires collectors to continue searching, even among ordinary pennies. It is a testament to the idea that numismatics is as much about storytelling, history, and human fascination as it is about tangible metal and mint marks. The 1988 penny also bridges the gap between common circulation coins and high-end collectibles. Unlike ancient coins or rare gold pieces, these pennies were handled by everyday Americans. They were spent, saved, and lost in the millions. And yet, some survived in perfect condition or with unique mint errors. This accessibility fuels the imagination. Even the most humble coin can hide an extraordinary secret. Every coin represents a chance discovery, a potential story, and a reminder that value is often hidden in plain sight. Collectors are drawn to the combination of accessibility, rarity, and potential. They understand that while most 1988 pennies are common, the few that exhibit errors, exceptional preservation, or unique varieties are true treasures. The hunt for these coins is what drives the community, creating moments of discovery that echo across auctions, coin shows, and personal collections. Every coin found, authenticated, and preserved reinforces the timeless appeal of the Lincoln cent and its enduring place in American numismatics. The story of the 1988 penny continues to evolve. As more coins are examined, as grading technology improves, and as collectors share discoveries, previously overlooked examples gain recognition. The market continues to adjust, values fluctuate, and rare coins gain prominence. And through it all, the 1988 penny remains a symbol of possibility, a coin that embodies the idea that even the smallest objects, when carefully studied and preserved, can hold immense historical and financial significance. It is a coin that rewards curiosity, diligence, and patience, offering the thrill of discovery to anyone willing to look closely, explore carefully, and imagine boldly.